What's going on, everyone? Welcome on into the Cleveland Browns Report. On today's episode, I thought we all might like some optimism going into Turkey Day, so I want to highlight a couple of players that are a little bit under the radar that have me encouraged for the future of the Browns. So let's start with a guy that might not be a household name, but diehard Browns fans know who this is, and that is the linebacker Diabate, who I think has done a really nice job over the last few weeks filling in for the injured Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. Does Diabate make a big splashy play each week? No. But you know what he doesn't do? He doesn't give up a big splashy play each week. I never see 43 running after a player running into the end zone. So the former UDFA out of Utah, who started his collegiate career at Florida, has done an incredible job as far as expectations for UDFAs. Second season with the Browns, he's made 6 starts, most of which have come this year. He did miss some time earlier with an injury that he sustained in week 1 over the Cowboys, but Pro Football Focus has a hard-on for him. They've got him ranked 12th out of 83 qualifying linebackers. So when we look at the future of the linebacker room, you know you've got JOK when he comes back healthy. They signed him to a long-term extension before the season kicked off. But Jordan Hicks is a vet. He's likely not going to be here for 4 or 5 years. Devin Bush signed a 1-year contract. So you're looking for some long-term pieces in the middle of your defense. And I think you've got a good start on the 2025 starting linebackers for the Browns. Diabate, JOK, and then we'll talk about who the third guy could be at a later date. Maybe it's a rookie. Maybe it's another veteran. Could be Jordan Hicks. We'll see where it goes. But for now, I think you've got some good, young, foundational pieces at the linebacker position, a position that's really plagued the Browns since DeQuell Jackson hung up his cleats. And JOK has been a huge sigh of relief, but unfortunately, the lack of availability has been concerning in his young career. So adding Diabate, I think, really helps make up for the lack of draft contributions from Cleveland. I mean, they haven't had a first-round pick since Greg Newsome. They've only had 1 second-round pick since then, and that was Michael Hall. So you haven't had a lot of great draft ammunition. So you got to find other ways to plug up your roster. And finding a UDFA like Diabate has been a big win for the Browns. Now, name a random Cleveland Browns player for me in the comment section below. I want to hear from everyone watching right now because I feel like Diabate is on a good path to be an all-time name a random Browns player when you're at the bar with your friends and you're going back and forth on random Brownies. Name a random one down below in the comment section. Second player to keep an eye on, I'm going to go with someone else on the defense. How about Saftey Ronnie Hickman? Buckeyes fans will like this one a lot because he played at Ohio State, like what feels like a good fraction of the Browns roster. And similar to Diabate, a UDFA out of last year, 2023's class, and this is a really good UDFA signing. Honestly, now that I think about it out loud, Andrew Berry might be better at finding UDFAs than finding guys in like round 3 of the draft because he's got more production from Hickman and Diabate than probably any other third-round pick. I mean, Cedric Tillman's going to make a good run for the money there, but Ronnie Hickman, I feel like, has been a really fun safety to watch because he's made some big splash plays. He had the pick 6 last year, was against the Jets to help clinch a spot in the playoffs. So I've got more on this in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. But a quick shout-out to our sponsor today, and that is PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Now for Turkey Day, they are putting Tyreek Hill's receiving yards at 0.5. They're just giving it to you. So take that, and then all you got to do is pick more or less on 1 more player, 2 more player. We're talking about doubling your money potentially. So download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. All of that information is in the comments and description of today's video. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. Getting back to Hickman, who saw an increased role last year, especially when Thornhill was down, and then Delpit went down at the end of the year. At one point, was it Hickman and D'Anthony Bell starting after Rodney McLeod went down? So those two young players got a lot of run. This year, Hickman hasn't had as large of a role because Delpit's been healthy and Thornhill's returned to the starting lineup, but I still like what I have seen out of Hickman, the Rocket, and I feel like the Browns could start maybe slashing a little bit back, cutting prices, and tightening their purse strings a little bit to save money in the future. And a spot they could do that is safety by moving on from Juan Thornhill. Has had a turbulent career in Cleveland, has not lived up to that 3-year contract he signed 2 off seasons ago. Now, if you're wondering if the Browns can get some major cap relief by moving on from Thornhill, I've got some bad news for you. Not really the case. He would carry a $3.1 million dead cap hit for 2025 and just $2.5 million in cap savings. The Browns, the way they structured his contract, they backloaded it and added a bunch of void years. So he is a free agent after 2025. So the 2026 dead cap hit is not going to change whether he's on the roster or not for 2025. So don't let this influence your decision. But you could save $2.5 million, but you also have $3 million tied up in dead money for 2025, which you're already second in the NFL in dead money. So we'll see how the rest of the season plays out for Thornhill, but I don't think $2.5 million is going to be a major needle mover for Cleveland when weighing their options. But if they feel like Hickman's just better than Thornhill, and there is $2.5 million in savings, might not be a ton, but it's better than nothing. Well, why not just go with the better player and take your $2.5 million in savings and say, thank you, see you later, or maybe see you never. So I like this potential move for Cleveland, but we'll see how Thornhill plays the rest of the year. I thought he bounced back really well in the Steelers game compared to his effort in the Saints game, but the fact that he needs to bounce back because of effort, that's a really low bar to begin with. That shouldn't be a concern at all. So setting the bar so low for yourself just so you can step over it, that to me is not a big needle mover. Now, before we look at the third player to watch for the rest of the year, help us reach 39,000 subscribers before I sit down at the dinner table on Thanksgiving Day, because I don't want to explain to my family one more time what I do for a living. And it'll help a whole lot if I say, well, I've got 40,000 Browns fans watching me. So make sure to subscribe to the channel. Selfishly, I ask that you join the #1 Cleveland Browns YouTube channel, at least in my parents' eyes, who don't really understand what I do still. So hit that sub button down below. Third and final player to watch for is offensive tackle Jack Conklin. Now, he's not like Diabate or Hickman where he's some young UDFA. No, we're talking about a former first-round pick, a top 10 pick at that, out of Michigan State by the Titans, who has gotten not one but 2 nice contracts from the Cleveland Browns. Now, unfortunately, Conklin's biggest issue in his career has just been health, lack of availability. He's played in a little over half of the games that are available for him as a Cleveland Brown. And the last couple of years have been extra injury prone for him, right? We don't need to rehash, but 2023 played in just week 1, got injured halfway through the game. That was one season after coming back from a previous year injury in 2021, so played a little bit in 2022. It's been up, down for Conklin. But he did sign a decent extension not too long ago. Not only is he under contract for 2025, he's also under contract for 2026. So if he continues to play well, which if you look at the PFF grades for Conklin, who has played, I think, 6 straight in a row now, 35 out of 75 qualifying tackles. We're talking about a guy who's in the top half amongst his peers. His pass blocking is better than it was before, 70.1. Remember, he was always a run-first guy, just 1 penalty and 3 sacks allowed. Now, when it comes to maybe saving a little bit of money, there are some savings to be had, $11.7 million. There's also $17 million in dead money. So weigh the pros with the cons. And to me, Conklin has played at a high enough level where I don't know if you need to start from scratch on the offensive line. I would keep a healthy Jack Conklin. If he stays healthy the rest of the year and he plays well the rest of the year, do we need to add another hole for the Browns to fill in the offseason? They already have plenty to do on their to-do list, like finding a new left tackle. Do we really want to add finding a new right tackle to that list when you've got one that's playing well? He's under contract. And yeah, you could save a decent amount of change, but you're just going to use that money to try and find a new right tackle. And I don't think you can use a draft pick to find a new right tackle because you got to use a draft pick to find a new left tackle potentially, especially if you don't think DeJuan Jones, which I do, but maybe the Browns don't, is a long-term play at that spot. So I would keep Conklin. But let me know if you think the Browns should just completely blow up the offensive line. You're moving on from Jed Wills. You've got 4 aging veterans at Petonio, Posick, Teller, Conklin, who are all under contract for next year, by the way. Got to find some places to get beneath the salary cap in a positive way. Offensive line's on a bad place to start, especially because that O-line hasn't been either healthy or very good this year. So that's kind of the first place I would look. But I would not focus my attention on Conklin. I think we can go different directions if it comes to saving costs to get under the salary cap. All right, that will do it for us on today's episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving. And I'll see you all later with more Browns news and rumors.